So in chapter 14, we looked at marketing channels and supply chains and supply chain management. So, first thing that we looked at was the distribution. This is the movement of goods and services from the producers to the customers. So, whenever a producer makes a product, in order to make money, they need to find a way to get it out to their customers, and usually the cheapest way they can. Then they have the marketing channel, which this helps in aiding the distribution. Kind of enhances it, makes it a little easier, makes it flow better, stuff like that. So we have logistics. This is coordinating the flow of information, goods, and services among members of the distribution channel. Then there's the supply chain management. Um, this is the control of the activities of purchasing, processing, and delivery through which raw materials are transformed into products and make viable or available to final consumers. Physical distribution. This is a broad range of activities. This is mainly to try and be efficient as possible, from finished goods, from the end of the production line to the consumer. There are major roles that the marketing channels in marketing strategy play. There are 4 functions: facilitating the exchange process by reducing the number of marketplace contacts necessary to make the sale. So basically, with this, if you can get your product to a consumer in only making 3 stops compared to another way that would make 5 stops, you're obviously going to go to the 3-stop one, provided that it's cheaper. But it's all going to depend on your business. Adjusting for discrepancies in the market's assortment of goods and services via sorting. So a lot of the time these products are sorted out, and you need to make some adjustments for that because not everything goes to plan. Standardizing exchange transactions by setting expectations for products, and then facilitating searches by both buyers and sellers. So those are the 4 functions in the marketing channel. There are a couple types of marketing channels. There's the marketing intermediary. This is an organization that operates between producers and consumers or business users. And then a wholesaler takes title to the goods it handles, and then distributes the goods to retailers like Walmart, for example, or other distributors, or just to the end consumer. Sometimes wholesalers will sell products as well. There are alternate ways for marketing channels. A lot of the time it will involve a middleman. I know we talked about in class, you rarely see a producer directly sell to the consumer because they don't specialize it in the other aspects that are needed. So for example, there are certain organizations and companies that specialize in the transportation or warehousing and stuff like that. So using those, a lot of the times it's much more easier for a company to just use those instead of trying to do everything by themselves. Because when you try and do everything by yourself with one company, especially if you don't specialize in it, there's room for a lot of problems. And that's what people want to avoid, because it can potentially cost your entire company. The different types of selling. We have direct channel. This moves goods directly from a producer to the business, purchaser, or ultimate user. And then there's direct selling. Strategy designed to establish direct sales contact between producer and final user. Again, this, I know we talked about, doesn't happen as much anymore, because there's always a middleman that does the sort of selling to the end consumer. There are some, pros when it comes to direct selling. You get the face-to-face contact. You have a better shot at persuading. You can also kind of customize it towards the person you're selling to or company you're selling to. So some examples of channels using marketing intermediaries. There's producer to wholesaler to retailer to consumer. There's producer to wholesaler to business user. And there's producer to agent to wholesaler to retailer to consumer. Then there's producer to agent to wholesaler to business user. So there's many different types of these channels. There's producer to agent to business user. There is dual distribution. This is movement of products through more than one channel to reach a firm's target market. This can be used to maximize sort of the coverage that they're able to have. And this is important in a marketplace, because the more people you can get your product to, the better. And it can help increase cost effectiveness, which is always important. Whatever you can save money in, the better. There's reverse channels. Channels designed to return goods to their producers. There are factors influencing marketing channel strategies. There's market factors, product factors, organizational factors, competitive factors. There's different intensities. There's intensive distribution, distribution of a product through all available channels. Selective distribution. This is distribution through a limited number of channels. And then exclusive distribution. This is through like a single wholesaler or retailer can be in a specific region. There are different conflicts that can happen. So the supply chain, this is a complete sequence of suppliers and activities that contribute to the creation and delivery of merchandise. This begins with like the raw materials, then you make the product, and then moving it to the final consumer, the customer. There's upstream management and then downstream management. For physical distribution, it contains customer service, transportation, inventory control, protective packaging, order processing, oh my god, I think I said it right, and warehousing. So a lot of those factors are going to need to be dealt with correctly. There are different types of carriers: common carriers, contract carriers, and private carriers. There are some major types of transportation. Railway is big. It's cheaper. Often carries coal, and you can get it over like a long distance. There's like trucks and stuff like that. Plane or ship. Different geographical areas are gonna require different modes of transportation. Yeah, so that's basically what we looked at for chapter 14.